Okay, guys. There's some people sleeping in my home right now. That kind of sucks. That I just got home from work. I watched the Dragon Ball Super episode, so I can't really express my feelings about it through my voice because it'll wake everybody up. So instead, enjoy this cringy as fuck interpretive dance. Yes. Okay. So, Dragon Ball Super episode 92. Okay. All right. Um my god, man. I was a little bit disappointed. I'll admit. I wanted to see a few scenes with Goku actively trying to wake up Majin Buu. Because I thought that would be funny, for Goku to like to shake Majin Buu awake, but they don't really go there at all with it. Pretty much as soon as Goku gets there, Mr. Satan explains to him, yeah, Buu, yeah, this has happened before. Usually he can just take, a few seconds of a nap and he'll be fine. But once he's out like this, it's game over. And Mr. Satan's already tried to make him awake through sound and putting out food for him, and it's just not working. My theory with this is that Majin Buu has actually, it's kind of the same thing with Goku in his Super Saiyan blue form, at the beginning of this arc, how Goku could get injured by like bullets and shit. It's like Majin Buu doesn't fight anymore really at all. He just spends his whole time just sitting around with Mr. Satan and just eating. And he fought against the guy from Universe 9, Basil, I think. Yeah, that was his name. And it was an interesting fight, and he managed to win. Majin Buu won, but then after that, it kind of like he wasn't used to it yet. His body wasn't accustomed to it, and him, getting really fit and training, it was just too much for his body to handle. It was like going from 0 to 60. It's like if I were to just jump out of bed tomorrow morning, and the first thing I do after jumping out of bed is going for a 10-kilometer run. My body would just be like, fuck you, no. So, yeah, Majin Buu is not, accustomed to that sort of thing, so I would understand why his body is just shut down. So there's really nothing they can do about that. Goku immediately heads back to Bulma's place, and I'll be a little scattershotted with this, but the basic idea is that Krillin and 18 arrive, and they are. It is revealed that Goku lied to them about the 10 million Zeni prize for the tournament. They're actually not, going to win any money there, and they confront Goku about this, and Goku is basically like, oh, well, I just figured I'll just give you the money, and then Vegeta shows up, and Vegeta's just like, Chi-Chi has the money. I'm like, well, Bulma has the money. Bulma's like, fuck no, and I'm like, well, So, but you know what? It gets resolved in an efficient way. It all gets resolved in the way that I think that would make sense given the circumstances, given the fact that if you lose, the universe gets obliterated, gets not just gone, just erased from existence. Everyone kind of comes together and understands the level of danger we have to deal with here. So Krillin and 18 agree to join the tournament, and basically by threats. Beerus, raising up the Hakai fuck you fist, palm right to Krillin's face. So, man, I'll tell you what though, Krillin facing down a god of destruction, man. Hey, not everyone gets that privilege, a one-on-one, Hakai with Beerus. But yeah, Krillin accepts it, and Bulma pretty much just says, "Fine, I'll pay whoever wins the 10 million Zeni. 10 million to fucking 18 or Tien or whoever." And given the fact that Bulma is, like the richest person on Earth, it would make perfect sense for her. It wouldn't make any sense for her not to do that. I understand, you just don't be giving out $10 million to your friends, but once again, kind of unique circumstances we're in right now. So, yeah, there was like that brief thing last episode with the preview, like, whoa, Krillin and 18 won't join either? Oh my god. It gets resolved in like 2 scenes, so that's not really that big of a deal. We cut around to different universes. We get, like, last week we had Universe 10 and what they were doing and all that stuff, and Universe 2. This week we get Universe 3, and that is the one with Moscow, the universe of the God of Destruction from Universe 3 that's like a robot. People have thought that it's actually just a normal guy wearing like an Iron Man suit, although I think from what we've seen from Universe 3 and how it's the most technologically advanced, it would make more sense that Moscow is a robot or a cyborg. Or, to put it a better way, the forms of sapient life in Universe 3 are actually robotic life. You know, like something that we would call a cyborg or an android is just the way life develops in Universe 3. That's at least the way I viewed it. So this is Frieza, which is not the person I wanted to talk about right now. I apologize for that. This is Nigarashi. And Nigarashi he's referred to as a modified warrior. And behind him you have Nariyama. And Nariyama is also a specially survival modified warrior that's designed for the Tournament of Power. And it's been stated that these guys are actually getting themselves ready for the Tournament of Power by modifying themselves. Nariyama himself, he zooms around Moscow and the Supreme Kai with the nerdy glasses and the angel, and they're like, oh, what can this thing do? And Nariyama's like, well, he doesn't actually talk, but Nigarashi talks for him, and he's like, well, he has these iron claws that allow him to grab the side of the arena if he falls. And Moscow's like, well, what happens if the arm gets ripped off? Well, that's not a problem because he has these huge suction cups. And they're just cool with that. They're impressed by sharp claws and suction cups. I'm like, okay, what if the suction cups get cut off? You know what? But they're also talking about how other members of Universe 3 are being modified further to participate in the Tournament of Power. And I'm just remembering, wasn't there a rule that specifically, excluded modified or, not modified in the sense of like you're entirely like partially just modified, like the like Android 17 and 18? They should be okay because they were original humans that had modifications, although that's still that seems like a gray area to me. That seems like something they should really get checked with first. But then again, you can't exactly call up the Grand Priest and be like, hey, I had some questions about the rules, Grand Priest Sama, how does this work? I mean, I wouldn't trust the Grand Priest as far as I would throw him, so I would not ask him about it. I would guess just to play ignorance and be like, we thought it was okay. But you'd think, obviously you wouldn't be allowed to bring a fully, biological, like Cell. Like, you wouldn't be able to bring a creature like Cell into the tournament that was, manufactured from scratch, with science. But then you have 17 and 18 that have modifications. They're still humans technically, but do those modifications count as weaponry? You know what I mean? So I don't know. That seems like kind of a gray area that I feel like they should address. But if we're going to go with that route, like the people in Universe 3 are just like, even before being modified further, they kind of already are sort of like androids or cyborgs or have some sort of robotic, technological advancements on them. That's just the way life develops there or evolved there. That's, I can understand that. I can go along with that. Or I could see the Grand Priest basically being like, everybody from Universe 3 is disqualified. Wait, no! That's whatever. Let's see, what else do we see here? Oh, okay, big one, big event. Okay, we get to see Kaba teaching Caulifla the Super Saiyan transformation, and in a different way that we have ever seen. Actually, I just realized this is an episode of Dragon Ball Super where we see a character go Super Saiyan for the first time, and we also get to see Frieza. Yeah, that's a little bit of a callback. But no, so instead of Kaba's not really, the Saiyans in Universe 6, aside from Caulifla, are not like the Saiyans from Universe 7. They're not warmongers. They're not filled with anger and rage. And, they're very peaceful. So it's kind of difficult for Kaba to teach Caulifla about the Super Saiyan transformation in the same way that Vegeta taught him, because Kaba doesn't have the charisma or the power to insult people. He just doesn't. That's just not what he does. He makes his pay he saves people. That's what he does. And he's a nice guy. He doesn't like to be mean to people. So he tries to insult Caulifla, but it doesn't go over too well. He just, you blockhead, you dummy poopy face Caulifla, it doesn't go over too well. So instead he goes through another method. He says, well, after the initial transformation, you can kind of go into it at will by channeling your ki into your a certain point in your back, and you can go Super Saiyan that way, but only after you've gotten accustomed to it. And so Caulifla's like, okay, well, let me give that a shot. So she tries to do that a way that it seems like, I mean, granted, these Saiyans that we're talking about already are probably, they should have gone Super Saiyan a long time ago already. They already have the potential to go Super Saiyan. It's just that the form has never been known to exist before. In Universe 7, they had the legend of the Super Saiyan, the Legendary Super Saiyan, which, at least gave them the general idea, which, like, okay, there are these things called Super Saiyans, but perhaps that legend does not exist in Universe 6, therefore they didn't even know it was possible. That would make more sense from what we're going to get next episode with Kale, who is Caulifla's protege, the other Saiyan that, is the really shy and meek girl, who is going to eventually turn out to be a legendary Super Saiyan. So, finally though, Caulifla figures out how the Super Saiyan transformation works, and she goes into it with little to no difficulty. And then at the, and then she asks Caulifla to Kale to try it too. And Kale's like, no, I could never do such a thing. So next episode, she's going to be like, okay, I'll try, So that's probably the route we're going to go with that. And then it's going to be like, oh shit, Cabba and Caulifla are going to like almost get killed by fucking this She-Hulk, She-Kale. It's going to be fucking devastating. The first thing Caulifla does after becoming Super Saiyan is like charge up like the planet buster beam. She channels so much goddamn energy in her finger, and then she launches it into the sky. It has enough like there's a fucking planet in the distance that gets obliterated probably. So okay, you're kind of scary. But she does agree to join the Tournament of Power. There's a scene where Cabba tries to get her digits, and Cabba's just like, so I'll give you my contact information, He's like, oh, so, okay, just trade, hey, here's my number, call me sometime, I don't know. They would make a cute couple, I guess. I mean, we all know who would be the dominant one, but, kinky Universe 6 Saiyan bondage sex, go for it, Cabba, be a man, Cabba. Okay, so, that's the whole shit with Universe 6. Basically, we have Vegeta, who did indeed blow up he blew his load and obliterated the hyperbolic time chamber, the room of spirit and time for like the second time, whatever. And so Mr. Popo ain't gonna be happy about that, but we don't actually get to see that. That was one of the funniest fucking things that's ever happened in Dragon Ball last episode, when you have fucking Mr. Popo being like, if you break it again, you will be banned. And they did the fucking Team 4-star close-up, and just like, that was great. And I would have loved for Vegeta to blow up the fucking room and then just step out, and then Mr. Popo is just standing there amidst the dust clears, and all you see is just Popo. And the next scene is just Vegeta getting knocked off the fucking lookout. It's like, you are banned, just knocks him off the fucking lookout. But no, unfortunately, we don't get no Popo in this episode. But Vegeta, arrives at Bulma's place at the end of the episode, and they get everybody on board ready to go. Oh, Master Roshi has apparently conquered his weakness, and that's a big deal. You don't know how. That's a running gag that's been part of this story for 30 goddamn years. Master Roshi is a pervert, and he has finally mastered he has transcended to, like, nirvana now. He has, like, entered the avatar state where he's, like, left all earthly attachments behind. It is now transcended into a higher order of existence, where he's able to stare at a busty young girl without immediately passing out. So the blood literally goes back up his nose. So way to go, Roshi. It only took you 3 decades, but you finally managed to master it. Granted, he's never really tried to master it, but that throws my theory about a hot, sexy alien chick fighting Roshi in the tournament. That throws that out of the way. So we get to the end. We get to the end here, where after Beerus threatens to fucking obliterate Krillin, and after Bulma says, oh, I'll pay whoever wins the money, whatever, there's a heartfelt moment there between Krillin and Goku. Who's like, Goku, I'm not even upset you lied to me about the money. I'm upset that you wouldn't trust me with that information, that we would be obliterated. Like, my daughter would die. Of course I would join. Of course, no duh, I would. So Goku comes clean and tells, everyone knows about the stakes now. Everyone knows the universe is going to get obliterated. He already told 17, so that's all set up, ready to go. And they're trying to figure out who to join for the 10th member. And they're going through, they don't really go through the list all that much. I was kind of hoping that they would have had a longer list. where they'd be like, okay, well, who do we got? You know, well, we got Yamcha. Okay, that's not gonna work. They bring up, well, they don't bring it up, but Mr. Satan does offer. And I thought that was really big for Satan's character. You know, going back to what Satan was like in the Cell games, you know, he was this boisterous guy, just, you know, like, I'm fucking awesome. And then he begins a little bit more humble throughout, you know, the rest of Z and Super. But now, like, right after he realizes that the tournament's in, like, 3 hours and Boo's not waking up, he decides to, like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I have to join. And even, here's the thing, here's the cool part. Goku does not actually... He doesn't actually just shut him down. Goku's not just like, oh no, Mr. Satan, you can't join. It's not happening. Goku's just like, ooh, are you sure you're going to be okay? And Mr. Satan, for a moment, he's like, like Mr. Satan understands. He like flashes back to the fights in the exhibition match and he knows that he has no fucking hope. But he's like, this is my planet, and everyone here looks at me as like a hero. Maybe I should do heroic things sometime. And so he's like this moment where maybe, but then he's just, no, I can't do it. I'm not going to last very long, would I? And so, I mean, that's a really big thing for Satan's character, that without really missing a beat, as soon as he realizes Boo's not waking up, he tries to take responsibility for it. So that's a big one. They don't even mention Yamcha, though, so fuck Yamcha. But, of course, Beerus mentions, like, oh, this is all because you guys all wiped out the Frieza Force. There might have been at least somebody fairly competent in the Frieza Force, but they're all wiped out now, so fuck it. And that's when Goku gets the bright idea that we all figured out like 4 weeks ago, that Frieza is available to become the final member of Universe 7. So, next episode, gonna be a big one. Gonna be a huge episode where Goku actually goes to meet Frieza in Hell, and apparently he does end up agreeing to join the team, but he has some very unreasonable demands as part of that. So, anybody's guess what those unreasonable terms would be? I would assume they would be like something along the lines of, I get to rebuild. See, I like to think that Frieza fucking understands that the revenge thing doesn't work well for him at this point. And maybe that's actually part of the reason why Frieza, the resurrection of F Saga, maybe that's like a lingering thing why that had to exist. Because if Goku would have just went to Frieza and the resurrection of F Saga never happened, then he would have still been bent on revenge, and he would have been drastically underleveled, but also revenge. But Frieza has attempted revenge now twice against Goku, and it has ended in his death both times. He initially tried to fight Goku on Namek, and he managed to get away. He was defeated, but he didn't die. He was rebuilt as a cyborg. Then he tried revenge. He got fucking diced into fish bait by Trunks and got incinerated, and then he died the first time. And then he came back from a wish in the Dragon Balls, and he's like, I'm gonna still on revenge, and he died again. So Frieza is a hot-headed motherfucker, no doubt about it, but he's not an idiot. Okay, he sort of is, but not really. He should be smart enough to realize, I have attempted revenge against these people 2 times, and I have died twice. I'm 0-2. Technically, you're 0-3 if you count the loss on Goku on Namek, but yeah, he should be smart enough to figure out, if I keep... Like, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So he should be smart enough to figure out, if I attempt revenge again, if I just try to fight you the same way I've been trying to, like, get stronger and fight, get stronger, then he's just gonna fucking die again. So I hope he at least understands that much. But he's probably gonna do some crazy demand that tries to get the one-up on Goku without actually beating him. I don't know what that would be like. I get to rule the planet Earth or something stupid, something crazy that's Goku would never accept under normal circumstances, but the universe is going to get destroyed. So it's like, you gotta have to, okay, sure, you know? Something like that, something crazy like that. Also, the fact that Frieza's in Hell, that's interesting. Not that he's in Hell, that's obvious, but whenever because it's like Fortune Teller Baba is going to bring Frieza back with the one-day pass thing, but I don't think she's ever brought back anybody that's been in Hell. So we actually get to see a scene next episode of Goku visiting Frieza in Hell, maybe to just talk to him first and get the set. I don't know if there's like special circumstances, but probably he just wants to talk to him and be, hey, look, Frieza, we can bring you back, but it'll only be for like one day, and that might be, maybe that's part of the circumstance too. Like, you figure out a way to revive me, or you use the Super Dragon Balls from the tournament to revive me forever and make me immortal. That might be something. That might be a reason. I don't know. But whatever demand Frieza's gonna make, Goku has no choice. They're out of time. They're out of fucking time. Goku has to accept, even if it's some crazy thing that's like, if we win, then you kill yourself, Goku. Goku's gonna be like, fine, fuck it, sure, I'll kill myself because you got another choice. And they're just gonna have to figure that shit out later. Frieza's around. Like, worst case scenario, you have Beerus, right? I mean, come on now. I mean, worst case, they can talk to Beerus and be like, hey, Beerus, just, if he tries to do something stupid, just kill him after the tournament. And Beerus would be like, yeah, sure. Fine. I'd be so happy that we didn't die that, sure, I'll do whatever you want. Something along those lines. But yeah, that's the case of the situation there with Frieza. And I also think they're going to update the opening titles. I think that Majin Buu being the opening titles, that was just kind of like a ploy, because I've seen shows do that before. Where they've changed up the titles in the middle of the season. I've seen anime do that before. So I think maybe starting next episode or the episode after that, we might get Frieza included in the titles. But other than that, really solid episode, although it just gets me more and more pumped for next week. Goku going to hell and talking to Frieza and having that exchange is going to be fucking golden. No pun intended, but it's going to be fucking good. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Sorry for the lower volume and sorry for the few mistakes here. I don't edit these just to get them out on time because I got work tomorrow morning. I got to go to bed soon. So I just like edit and shoot. I mean, I don't edit. I just shoot them and put them out there. So apologizes for that. But anyway, hope you enjoyed, guys. This will be Tekking101 signing out. Stay golden. Okay, that was the pun. Interpretive dance. Good night, everybody.